Hello everybody, how you doing this beautiful afternoon? My name is Chidinma Uzendu, but you can call me Brown Naya, and I would like to tell you something really interesting. But before then, I'd like to ask you a question. Are you ready to expand your knowledge on business as an entrepreneur, or are you ready to unlock secret potentials to help leverage your businesses as an entrepreneur in 2025? Perhaps your answer is yes. Then I welcome you to the Growth Mindset Podcast. Yes, a podcast where entrepreneurs get to learn, unlearn, and of course develop skills that helps in successes of their businesses, that helps in business successes. Once again, I am Chidinma Uzendu, and you can call me Brown Naya, and I'm your host for the Growth Mindset Podcast. And on this podcast, I have the honor to be sharing interviews with industry experts, successful entrepreneurs, and they're going to be telling us stories. Yes, they're going to be running us through the highway of how they were able to do what we all admire today. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you once again to the Growth Mindset Podcast. Are you ready? You're welcome back from that very short breather, and yes, it's time for us to delve into the first episode of the Growth Mindset Podcast. Are you ready to grow? Are you ready to learn? Are you ready to unlearn? Today, I have amazing individuals. You know, some of the greatest discoveries are usually found at our backyard. And that's why there is a popular saying that says, "Waiting you dey find for Sokoto, dey inside your Shokoto." And I'm about to introduce someone to you who not only saw an opportunity, who not only seized it, but is making the most out of it. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to introduce someone that not only saw an opportunity, he not only seized it, but he's actually making the most of it today. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, join me as I welcome the pioneer of the first and the only Oyo State boat cruise. Not only that, this is a serial entrepreneur that has created employment opportunities for numerous Nigerians, particularly in Oyo State. Join me as I welcome Dr. Bamidele Somi.
Thank you so much, moderator. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate your effort. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it feels so good to finally meet you in person.
Well, it's one of those things we keep meeting on a daily basis. So on a daily basis, you keep meeting a lot of people and you interact and make impact. That's what life is all about.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, let's go straight into what we have for you today. I'm going to touch other aspects, but the creative process of the Oyo boat cruise, I'd like you to run us through it. What inspired it? What led to the development? Was it just something you wanted to do, or was there a story or something that led to it? Can you just give us a brief overview of that?
Yeah, thank you so much. Viewers, I want to once again appreciate you creating time or finding time even to watch or follow us on this program. If I want to tell you a story, it's going to take us a long time, but all the same, let me just cut it as short as possible. You said something that what you are looking for in Shokoto is in your Shokoto. To the glory of God, I've been chanced to travel far and wide within and outside the country to places where I discovered that what they are making a very big money out of is not even as big or as much as what we have back home in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So then I went to a trip, one of my trips to, I think I was in Dublin some times ago. So they call one River Levy. Those that are there we know now. And I discovered that river, it's moved around the whole of Dublin. Mm. So a friend of mine that I went to visit then said, "Mr. Man, can we just have a cruise on this river?" And within a short period of time, we are just all. So while we are doing that, I keep thinking, we have a lot of resources that we are not making do with. And all of us, we can't keep doing the same business. Why can't someone just think outside the box? When I go back to Nigeria, I just said, okay, let me look at where we can just experiment, so to say. Days, because I know to every new initiative or innovation in Nigeria, there will always be a bottleneck. I started moving here and there, go to some places, not even Oyo State here. I explored some other state and I discovered that their attitude towards it is not all that. When I came back to Oyo State, I look at while I was in Polytechnic Ibadan, I was a welfare secretary student union government. That should be around 1995, 96. So then we do go to get water. There was crisis then. So we do go to LA to just go and get raw water, take it to school then. So the thing just, the memory just flashed back and said, this water can still be used for something much more meaningful. And that's how we just started. I went there, look at it. In fact, then I don't even know that the water is as big as it was, because you just go out there, get the water from the reservoir, take it back to the school. So on getting to the place, I look at it that this water, we can make something out of it. And one thing about me is this: once I'm convinced about something, I don't mind what comments people saying. I won't allow that one to deter me. I just launch into it, because people will be telling you what if. So I do tell them, what if not? What if not? So it was what if not that led into this, because there's a lot of story in between it. We look at it, and this thing can stay. Why going to Lekki when we have LA? Actually, you need Lekki now. LA were okay for everybody. So we just venture into that, and so far so good. It has been something. It has been the pride of the state as a whole. Let me just put it that way, because it has projected Oyo State in another perspective.
Exactly. And yeah, all right, you just heard from our very first guest, Dr. Bamidele, and I'd like you to get ready to meet a game changer, a trailblazer. I'm looking for the perfect adjective to describe him, but let's just say one that has so many feathers to his hat. I'm talking the head of content at Maya Plus TV. Not only that, our next guest also has a foundation. And what will interest you about this foundation is it's a one-of-a-kind foundation. This foundation is one that he created for single mothers. And you can tell from all of this that our next guest is truly a force to be reckoned with. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Mr. Ajibola, aka ATA.
Thank you, ma. Yeah, you did. Good afternoon.
All right, good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you.
All right. Yeah, we just heard Dr. Bamidele. He said something interesting while he was running us through the creative process of the Oyo State boat cruise. And he said he traveled to Dublin and, he saw some things. And these things were the things that gave him this inspiration to create something like this. And there is a lot to you, but something really interesting is, I'll say, networking, because there is know-how, except you want to tell us something magical that you were able to do all of this without networking. So tell me, what does networking actually mean to you?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
First off, I think basically networking is just the essence of all of us being in existence. And it goes beyond whether you're a Muslim, a Christian, an idol worshiper, whatever it is you are. You need to understand the strength that lies in the convergence of people. There is nothing that's ever moved unless people made it move. And that is why when God even created the world, there is the part where he allowed for, he brought all of the animals in two. You see the male, you see the female, so that they can procreate. And from procreation, it goes on and on. So basically, you need to understand that there are always different levels to whatever it is you want to become. There are different, when you look at it from the academic angle, you start from crèche, then primary, secondary, tertiary, and like I would say, education has no end. So you basically will understand that you need to meet people from all of those facets. I have enjoyed largely, benefited largely from networking. I am not one person who, even when I disagree with my friends, they will tell you I'm always the first person to actually apologize, because I always understand that we'll always need ourselves. And these days, presently, I have friends who are either serving commissioners. I think I have the Minister of Youth is a personal friend. I have kings as friends. I have friends in all facets. I have organizers as friends. I have medical practitioners as friends. Just because I'm I understand the importance of keeping all of them as a contact. And when you look at it on a larger scope, look at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I will tell you that whatever it is that he's enjoying today as a president, is actually stemming up from what he has been able to build as a network. Because when you meet people, you use them as weapons to actually actualize whatever dreams you have. And basically, networking is where every entrepreneur should learn as a skill, not even as a gift. Now, you have to ensure that you make it a point of duty. Because, for instance, now you have a L'Oreal, the person at my side here, as a friend. Then from being a SSC, maybe in the next few years, it becomes the governor. The relationship goes from where you've started it to the end. So basically, that is just what I feel as regards networking.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. And ladies and gentlemen, right now, I'm going to introduce someone to you. You know, our second guest said something. He said, when you look at the president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you can tell that he didn't just get to where he was without networking. If you even remember, there was this popular audio of him where he was saying something that, when I need money, I will call Okoya. You can tell that even from the government parastatal, you can tell that nobody gets there alone. Nobody is an island of its own. And that's why I'm going to be introducing you to our third guest. Yes, this third guest of ours, right? He's someone that I would say he has seen the good and the bad of life. Not saying everybody here have had a smooth ride all through. It's not possible to be an entrepreneur and you're not going to have maybe those times where you have the down times when it's like your business is, you're asking, can I continue with this? We're going to delve into that. I would like you to join me as I welcome the Senior Special Advisor to the Governor of Oyo State on project delivery. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing you're going to learn about our guests that I'm about to introduce to you now is the fact that you can be whatever you set your mind to. Opportunities are looking around you. Opportunities are all around you. It just takes the right insight, the right site for you to tap into that thing. And without any further ado, join me as I welcome Mr. Abiodun Oluwaseun, also known as L'Oreal. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, moderator. That was a beautiful introduction from you. It's nice to be here to share some of my views and insights with the beautiful audience and large audience that we have at the other side looking at us. I hope we are able to learn one or two from each other.
Exactly. All right, I'd just like to ask you a little question before we delve into all we have. The question I'm about to ask you now has to be the role of government policies, how it affects businesses. You're a leader, from being a one-time SUG president of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, and also being one of the forces that reduced the increment of school fees. I had friends that were affected by that, but kudos to people like you. Now, what would you say is the major impact of leadership when it comes to things like this? Now, the role of leadership, I'll explain further. You know, when there is no law, when there is no policy, when there is no law, there is no sin. Whatever anybody does is one thing. And now when it comes to businesses, it looks like okay, let's look at the fuel subsidy remover, for example. You know, it all started during the inauguration ceremony of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And when he said that, although it had very good intentions, but we can see how it affected people, it affected the economy and everything. Now, as an SUG president, as a leader, can you just give us, talk to the audience, just tell them the impact of government policies on businesses?
Thank you very much. First, I would like to say this, that when decisions are being made by a leader, is the representative of millions of people. So whatever the leader, whatever actions or decisions he makes, it's not just the action of the leader or the decision of the leader, it becomes a decision of the majority of the people. So when we are making or when we want to take a step to choose our leaders, we have to be conversant with the type of decisions they will also make when they get there, because by giving them that power and authority, we are giving them the mandate and power to make decisions on our behalf. So the decision or the pronunciation from His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu about fuel subsidy is not just his own personal decision. Since he's the president, it becomes a decision of the Nigerian people. So the second thing I would love to say is this: when policies are being made by the legislators, we know that we have so many people at the National Assembly, the House of Reps, and even the state legislators as well. As I've said, whatever decision these people make, it is the majority decision, because we are the one who chose them to represent us. So that is why, as followers, what we should do first is to sieve, examine, and be sure the people who are going to send in there to represent us will represent the best of our interests. Because even if it is a negative decision or a positive decision that they make, it will affect all of us, either good or bad. Now, yes, we still have a role as followers to stand against some of these decisions that we are not okay with it, such as what we are seeing with the tax reform bills, the noise from everybody everywhere. If we had this kind of let's say opposition to the student loan, the increment of tuition fee, overall, all of these stuff, probably it would have been reviewed a bit. But if you allow everything to go, because we are not taking our role, waiting for other politicians to come in and say no to it, we might actually just have a rubber stamped population, not a rubber stamped legislative arm now. Because now that the tax reform bill is affecting some of the big guns, you can see how they came out to oppose it. Take for instance the Dangote refinery. We all know all the dramas and intrigues that happened around that time, because the policy from NNPC or from the federal government is not in alignment with what Dangote wants. You can see the number of times he appeared in the media. It is even more than the ones he has appeared in his whole entire life as a businessman. You know, but we as followers, we should look at that strategy and look at what is happening with the tax reform bills now, to understand that when we don't oppose some of these decisions as well, it means we have all accepted it. As a former union president, I believe that whatever decision is being made, even when there is a majority of people supporting it, it is not bad to have a dissenting opinion, because it is possible that your opinion can spark more conversations. It does not mean outrage, it does not mean protest. It might spark conversations that might let people see it differently, and that might be the saving grace for the whole population. Everybody cannot sleep and head in the same direction. But one thing I want us to know is this: whenever you choose any leader, either positive or negative decisions, and there is no opposition to that policy, it means all of us together jointly accepted and want that decision. So that people who complain about fuel subsidy today, it's not just affecting just the masses. Even people in government, they are also feeling the heat. It might look different, but they are also feeling the heat. It is just because they are in the business to show that they are okay, just like artists, just like celebrities too. Deep down, they know it is not easy, but you just have to look it so that people won't look at you and see you are a pauper. But if there is no dissenting opinion, we are likely going to have a rubber stamped population to every decision being made, either positive or negative.
All right, thank you so much for that. It was such an insightful Short session. And you said something interesting, meaning that as a leader, you're not just a leader because you want to decide something, you want to make that decision. Because trust me, a lot of Nigerians thought that fuel subsidy removal was an independent decision made by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That's the ideology a lot of people have. And I'm going to use what she said to ask Dr. Bamidele a question. Now, the Oyo State boat cruise at Elele, I'm sure what we have now is not what it used to be 3 years ago. There have been developments. I haven't been there for once, but I have friends that have gone there. My friend was just there on Sunday, and she was comparing it to when she was there before. And there were lots of, she was telling how there is a bar there. There are places where you can play games. There are bouncing castles. There are lounges there, and all of those things. When you started, I'm sure perhaps maybe it was a long-term goal, but I want to know, was there a place of your customers or people influencing the improvements we have there, or it was just a decision to make it just better? What do you think is the role of customers, clients in influencing a sole business?
Well, thank you, moderator. Like I said, starting up was so rough, as in very, very rough. To every business, it's always very, very rough. But it depends on, there's no way you can interpret a vision like a visioneer. Yeah. It's not possible. So it depends on, you have the master plan at hand. And once you're implementing it, it might not be perfect. Like I said, it was rough, but day by day it's getting much more better because we are just barely a year. And I'm happy about comments of people. You've just said it now, people that were there, because when we started it was just and I want to appreciate Mr. Governor for consenting to our ideology, because if he's a person that doesn't see to, because he made a pronouncement that he wants to drive Oyo State economy through tourism, which he kept to his word. He gave us the nod, and in fact he even gave us an award, which really encouraged us. When we started, it was so small, but on a daily basis, in fact, our intention was not to include any sit out or any lounge or anything of such. It's just to face purely you cruise, you go. But when we come there, we say, can't you just get a bottle of water? Can't you just get something to munch? Can't you just get something to this? And I begin to look at it. I don't think I have flair for all this. But when people keep demanding, when people keep asking for it, so as not to discourage them from coming, we have to just, okay, let's just have a small place where while you are cruising or when it's yet to be your turn, you can sit down. Maybe you want to have either peppermint or whatever, you want to get drinks, you can just sit down there. Then after that, we discover that some people, they were hydrophobic, let me just put it that way. I can't go on water, but they can do something else. They can shoot. Yeah. They can do paintball, they can do other. Okay, let's incorporate this. It's there, but they just fast track the whole thing because marine business is not a small money. It's not all that easy. So, and at the same time, when we have large number of people, especially during festive period, we discover that the one we have then cannot service them. So we have to look around and say, okay, let's get at least additional stuff to make sure that we're able to serve people within a shorter period of time. So far, so good. Their decision headed our own operation, apart from the fact that we have it. And if I want to do it at our own pace, we want to grow organically. Some people will say, you don't advertise, you don't do this, but I keep telling them that anybody coming to that place is our potential advertiser, so to say, because there is no way you come there, you want to take a snap. You will take a picture, you will post it on your status.
There are some YouTube videos that have over 5K views.
If I have one that is over 94,000 views. The lady came all the way from Lagos. She granted, in fact, I granted an interview, and she posted within and outside the country. In fact, I keep telling them, I don't mind who is taking the credit. It's Oyo State thing, and the credit is going to the governor because he's the one that gave us that courage to move ahead. Same thing with the Commissioner for Tourism and Culture. Because without that, now the narratives about Ibadan has changed now.
Yes.
Because Ibadan is only known to be a city with brown roof. But now we now have Neki in Ibadan now. So which people are so happy. But anybody coming there, you see the joy in them. Look at the stress of them going to Lagos. Look at the economic activities that you are pouring into another state. Why can't you just try? And every day the thing keeps increasing. We are not yet where we are going to, but at least so far so good. It's not bad, and we are planning to make it much more better.
All right, I'll get back to you because I'm going to ask you a question that really, really struck me. But let me ask Maya. Let me ask you. Now, we've heard how, we've gotten a little insight as to how sustaining that project at LALA has been. Okay, now we just heard what he said about building the business and getting from people, getting advice from people or looking at what people want. That's the need of the people, that particular thing. Was that what influenced you into setting up that foundation for single mothers? Let me get my question right again. He said something that when people come there, they want to drink water, they want to do this, they want to do that. And he said, if it's not yet your turn to cruise on the boats, you can do paintball, you can relax, the kids can stay on the bouncing castle and all. Yes, so now I want to ask you, do you think it's one of the need of the people that influenced your decision into doing this, or was it a personal experience that led to it?
Thank you. For me as a person, for now, I don't do businesses that really require one-on-one interactions with people.
Okay.
Like that. I do real estate, advertising, branding, and a couple of times I produce movies. I do politics by the side. But basically, me creating that foundation was one of my parents. I know how it is for women out there these days, where almost the larger percentage of the men want to be responsible, no disrespect. So when you look at it critically, you discover that most times when lovers turn to fighters, many people intend to always run away from their responsibilities, just as a way of punishing the woman. So I'm in constant interaction with a whole lot of my friends, either by nature or by accident, baby mamas as we call them. And there are some of them who become that through death of their spouses and all that. So, and I'm like, we can't just keep letting these people die. I lost my mom like a year ago, and it is always most times accumulation of stress they've gone through while trying to raise their children. Because you have the men sipping drink at a weather or job with their friends early in the morning, while the woman is wanting to ensure that her children become successful. So we can't keep letting these women die when we are all just growing up. Go and check. Way back, they used to tell you it is the women would stay longer, then men die faster. But these days, the women are dying faster, the men are staying longer. So you just have to come in and look at ways through which you can help. And personally, I'm so invested in education. I've done a whole lot for education. I presently serve the local government as a special advisor on education. And when you look at the level at which education is, you would shake your head. I visited over 30 schools, and I can tell you with their names and addresses that it is bad. And when I say it is bad, this has nothing to even do with the government alone, because I know how much the government has done for certain schools. And it is sad that you hear that sometimes parents send their children to those schools to go break school furniture so that they can use it as firewood to cook. Wow. So it's the problem of there are some schools, I can mention some Calabar, some at Mokola, that hoodlums will go into the schools, beat the students and the principals out just to actually steal from the school. So it is a situation now, it's a crisis. So what I feel is we need to just empower the women so that in their own ways the children can stay in school, and when the children stay in school, they eventually become what they should become. Because basically, I think education, there is a trending video of a lawmaker for like 3-4 days now, and I made a post on my phone today like, come, everybody is slamming this man, but I can tell you categorically that this man is a performer for me as a person. But because he cannot maybe express himself properly in English, all of you people want to just run him down. And it takes you to a skit Brain Daughter did like a week ago, where one child was forming up, botish, blah blah blah. But the guy had nothing in her head.
Yeah.
But the one who could not express himself in English, you already canceling. So that's why the cancel culture needs to stop, because come, they will give Ronaldo a World Cup award. He's speaking his language. Messi is speaking his language. Maybe we should turn it to something. I feel the same legislators we have out of most of them, because now the legislators too are sensible. They should make bills that needs to involve. Maybe we returning to the part where we use our mother tongue to start taking lectures. I feel it's important. So
I'm not saying vernacular.
because you telling me not to speak vernacular, then at the end of the day, I embarrass the whole nation at Olympics because I don't know the difference between it and hit. There was one time when, I don't know those who watch videos, sorry for taking time, there's this video of a popular American TV host, and it was like, called Anger. And the guy was like, anger! And he was like, you're from Nigeria, you're from Africa, because it will tell. So Ronaldo will not speak my language, don't let me speak the language of the coins too. So I think these are all the things that informed that part, and so far so good. We've been doing, to an extent, I think we're doing well. And we'll do more, by God's grace.
Yes, thank you so much for that. About you said something about how parents or mothers send their kids to schools that government has invested heavily with projects like that to destroy classrooms, furnitures, just so they can get firewood. Now, Mr. Abiodun, I would like to know, as someone that has worked both in the government sector and, as someone that is currently working with the government, and I'm sure you interact with, the masses every day, and you are still working and you also work with the masses. What policies do you think we should have sensitization for things like this? Talking to people about things like this. How do you think policies can be put in place to reduce things like this? Because people are acting from the angle of we don't have money. We see the sad and the unfortunate incident that happened at on the 18th of December, that Queen Naomi at Basharu, we see what happened there. And a larger percentage were saying, even people on social media were saying, there's no money in the country, there's no money in the country. But if you hear the distance, the places some of these people came from, you will wonder, the transport you spent in coming from that place, it wouldn't have led to something like this. You can tell that there is a place of greed too. Or so far it's free, they want to rush to this thing. So what do you think how do you think sensitization can help in things like this? Or what other policies do you think can help in reducing acts like this?
Thank you very much. Let me first say that the federal government created NOA for reasons like this, and to now take a step further, because His Excellency Engineer Sheyi Makinde also understands the intricate behavior of our people here in Oyo State. He created the Oyo State Social and Mobilization for Oyo State Mobilization and Socio-Economic Mobilization Agency, OMASED, just to be able to educate people about some of these government programs, the negative effect of some of the actions of our people who claim or feign ignorance to stuff like this. From my own point of view, I used to say it that knowledge is wealth. And even when in the Bible, when Solomon was to ask for something, he asked for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And while in primary school or secondary school, when we want to pray, most times you intentionally put wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Basically, because that is the basis of wealth. Yes, information is power. People say power is power, but I believe from me, knowledge is power. If you don't know, you don't know. So much of those people that went to that program that had that issue, it's aside from greed, aside from poverty, aside from there's something they lack, it is knowledge. Somebody took 6 children that does not belong to her to the place, did not come back with, came back with her own children, did not come back with some of the children of the person she borrowed. Now, now look at that now. Okay, thinking the mathematics is if I can get 5,000 on all these people have made so amount of money, forgetting that it is a business, a high risk business. When you will not come back with just one has covered the 30,000 you want to profit is a loss on just one missing. Is a loss on just one of them missing. So now are we saying, aside from greed, that is ignorance, right? And that is because the person is not knowledgeable. So now that is the essence why the governor created that agency. Now to follow up on that agency, he also created the agency enforcement of the rule of law agency. That is why you see most times when the governor is talking, he will say we will follow due process and rule of law. People might not really understand why he's making that statement, but it is because when you lay down or when you bring out a legacy or form a legacy or start a legacy, you make sure it works according to plan. So that way people will start to change their mindset and understand that in Oyo State, there is an agency that would have educated you, educate you, and will still educate you again. Then there is another agency where you misbehave, even if you belong to the governor's camp or you stay with the governor and sleep and eat with the governor, you face the consequence. Then even after that again, he still proceeded with energizing and helping the Oyaka, Oyo State Anti-Corruption Agency. Now if you look at these 3 agencies, it is to check and balance all of these attitudes from people, because yes, I understand the awareness is not enough. It's the onus lies on all of us to make sure people get to know of all of these things, and that is why teachers are important. Governments will make policies. They will also try as much as possible to make people understand these policies. But the major assignment starts from the family, where the father and mother will teach. Then it goes to the academic environment, where the teachers, lecturers, guardians, counselors will also teach. Then the final part lies on individuals. To have learned something all through, either you learn moral, you learn skills, or you learn behavior. You have to learn something in all of these processes, because without any of these 3, you either end up in a correctional center, and that once lies on the government to make sure anybody that did not learn moral, did not learn skill, and did not learn behavior, because the government has done their own part of it. You are the one that you are supposed to do your own part. If you don't learn any of it, the government will take you to the correctional center where they will correct you. So for me, there is no excuse. Even everybody knows ignorance
it's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse. So yes, the government needs to up their game. You as well, you also need to up your game. Crime is expensive.
Alright.
Thank you very much.
Alright, thank you very much. You know, when you were talking about the Oyo State government creating an anti-corruption agency to check all of these projects that are in place. Now, last year, we were aware of the impact of Oyo State when it comes to rural farms, and we saw projects how would I put the right words into this? We saw projects that came to life. We saw farmers benefit from all of these projects. Like about 62 farmers. There was this particular project where they had to give them grains, give them acres of land, and things like this. These things were given to these farmers. They were also giving inputs, raw materials for their farms. Now, this anti-corruption agency, do they also check that these farmers use these things? Because this mindset we are talking about, some people can get the land, some people sell this land. Imagine a farmer is getting 2 acres of land. They can sell it and make this money, but there is a purpose of it for food security and making sure that there is food everywhere. So this the anti-corruption agency that was created by the Oyo State government, do they also have a role to play in projects like this for rural farmers?
Thank you very much. The anti-corruption agency is not just for check and balance alone. Sometimes they might not have the information to know what is happening here, what is happening here. As I have said, the onus lies on each and every one of us. And that is why when I was mentioning things to learn, I mentioned attitude and behavior. It is intentional because we know our behaviors. We ourselves, we know what we do to each other. Even when government want to try as much as possible to implement some of these laws, some people who intentionally, knowing fully well they are on the wrong side of the law, would come out, cook all sort of stuff just to blackmail the government. Yes, the Oyo State Anti-Corruption Agency also still depends on whistleblowers, because sometimes some people understand the act to hide under 1 or 2 umbrellas, do this so that they won't be caught in the web. But the agency is well equipped with intentional people, experienced people to carry out this assignment, but not majorly because for agric sector alone, for all sectors. And if you see something, you say something, because governments cannot be everywhere. They are not omnipresent at all. They won't see it all.
And if you can see, yesterday was a year what the Bodija bomb blast that happened.
Yes, and even as close as that is to the seats of government, seat of power, you will understand that it can happen anyway. But for us to be safe, it is basically all of us, our safety first, security of lives and properties. It is our assignment. Yes, it is majorly the assignment of security operatives, but it is first your own assignment before security operatives take over. So for me, I believe all of these agencies, we might not start seeing the effects now, but it is laying the foundation for a greater future and a better tomorrow for us.
Thank you very much, sir. And yes, you're still listening to the Growth Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Chidinma Uzendu, but you know you can call me Brown Naya. Do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Alright, welcome back to the show. It's still the Growth Mind podcast, and we have been having such an interesting time. Do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. But we are concluding on this episode. But before we go, let's just hear a little more from our guests. I'm sure you're excited to hear from them and you're still learning, because if not, you wouldn't be on this particular podcast. All right, Mr. Maya. Okay, so the Maya group. Now, how many countries or how many states in Nigeria, how many countries do we have branches of the Maya group?
Basically, I won't say we have branches, we only use representatives.
Okay.
So presently, my immediate younger brother Andrews, UK, Scotland, Europe, France. Then we have a couple of other countries. Last time I was in Ethiopia for a conference, an EU related conference. So basically, the idea is just go out, meet more people, learn from people about their culture, their businesses, and models you can implement. And just like what the doctor said, he went to Dublin, saw something, brought it back, and I think there's something like that with the Giwa Gardens in Lagos, which is blowing a whole lot of minds now. So, it's basically all about learning that you can do a whole lot from being informed, just like what the SSS in government said. So, For me as a person, we established the business years ago, but I brought it back to Ibadan because I grew up here, and I feel like whatever it is, regardless of where anybody says, Oyo State is important. As much as we're not even getting what we expect from Oyo State, but we hope with people like the SSA in government, we'll get to where we're hoping to get to, because our creative space in the state is really almost dead, if not dead. And I think it is a slap even on all of us, because this is where everybody gets molded. Talk about Kiki, talk about remote, talk about Spyro.
They all go and add to the
then
GDP
become,
of
I was
Lagos.
saying an interview where Spyro was saying he's earning like 20 million naira for the show. Look at remote, it's not a landlord on the island. And then we see that all these people have something to do with the city. And that is how it has been. Sigma Club, Wale Soyinka, Drola Dipo, they are all here, they are the loves and all. So what exactly is happening? It is because our government, this has nothing to even do with the present governor. From the Ajimobis to, I think Akala did a bit of investment in entertainment. They don't see the need for it. And when Lagos is telling you they are making trillions from entertainment in 1 month, I think it is a slap on Oyo State that I think the only concert I heard about in December was the Odon Loss opening thing that happened at the arcade where some gospel artists came to perform. We need more than that, and that is why we have to come. When we start doing it, we'll tell the government, and maybe from their partnerships will happen.
Alright, yes, I think there's still a lot for us to do. You know, we are not doing so bad, but there's still a lot, because we still had Bella Shmurda coming to the city in January.
And we don't have homegrown artists too. We have our homegrown artists. Like, these are the questions, but we'll do that subsequently, because Bella sees an opportunity. Bella is coming from Lagos to come and entertain like 10,000 people in here because he sees an opening. So that means we have people in Oyo State who want to go out, except for Music Rave by Deliamo, Lee, and a couple of other events. People really want to go out. People are thirsty. And just like what my uncle said, the moment people saw that, okay, we can really enjoy on the water, people started sell drinks, let's do shooting, and it is getting bigger and bigger by the day. So we have the audience. We should just tap into it and make money out of it.
So in other words, if you have a last word for the audience listening, what's that one thing you tell them?
I really don't know, but then, as much as possible, Oyo State is the pace setter, and we need to live to that. Because that name in office. So just for all that is what people want to explore Ibadan. We've seen Ibrahim Chata, we've seen Kunle Afolayan. Kunle Afolayan is from Para State, I guess. See what he's doing in Teswaji local government. And a whole lot of people still want to do a whole lot of stuff. We have Kamal State, we have all of that, but we don't want to keep losing them to other places. So we need to just be pace setters in our fields.
All right, thank you so much. And in conclusion, Dr. Bamidele, you said something about the entertainment hub, like people going to Lagos and all of that, when they have it here in Ibadan. Just give a word of conclusion to people that might have ideas. Maybe just say something to our listeners, people that have ideas, and maybe they're just thinking, I can't do it here. It's not worth it. Because at first, you know, it's some people said maybe it was trying to be a replica of what we have in Lagos boat cruise, which, you know, is what we are enjoying here. But beyond that, you wanted to make Ibadan home. Let it be a tourist attraction for people. Just in a few sentences, just what's that one word you have for entrepreneurs?
Well, I think just one word will not be enough to describe, but let me just say this. I want to allude to what SSA said, that knowledge is power.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't believe it in totality. A little explanation. This place was to be for residential. The person here had a knowledge and he applied that knowledge. So he combined two things together, residential and commercialize it as well. So which means application of knowledge is more powerful. If knowledge were to be power, then the professor should be the one earning the most expensive money. But if you can't apply the knowledge you have, so I'm just, to viewers out there, to any knowledge you have applied, nothing makes it better when you're just a custodian of knowledge without applying it. So it's a waste of time. Then our venture there, it has really, I'm happy and I'm glad to say it anywhere. We pioneer. In fact, we are still living to the saying of Oyo State is a pace setter. As far as Southwest is concerned, apart from Lagos, they don't have this kind of a thing in Southwest, which is a credit to Oyo State and to our excellency. So what we have there is just what you want to go and enjoy in Lagos. Why can't you just have it here? If you look at the stress, if you look at the money you're going to spend, if you look at all of that things, why can't you just sit here, JJ, and enjoy your enjoyment instead of you just stressing yourself going to Lagos? So any people that have been coming there, a woman was there day before yesterday. I want to believe she came from UK and the family came from UK. And the woman just said he was looking for where to go to, that the house was so boring. Now maybe check through Google or something. He now showed it to his son that they have a boat cruising stuff in Ibadan. He said, it's not possible. He said, okay, let them just try and see what is happening there. On getting there, I was privileged to be there then. The man said he's not going to join them because he doesn't really know. The man was inside a car. He has not yet entered. So the woman just came in. Look, this is not a bad place. It looks so beautiful. He said. So eventually the man came in and said, I never believed this kind of a thing in Ibadan of all places. And I said, why Ibadan of all places? It's because you can't just think outside the box. I was telling somebody the money we use for that place, you can use it to get another Cloud 7 or all this. But it's just a question of you just thinking something different, pioneering something new, and do something that will add value to the state you belong to. I do tell people, life living without an impact is a waste of life. You're just wasting your time. And if the whole of us can just come up with an idea, and that's not what we are doing. We still have several other opportunities like that in this state that people are yet to tap into. But I know by the grace of God, we are working on it. So people that are traveling both far and wide, they should think of what they can add to add value. My traveling all across the world, I've been able to learn something. I was in Canada February last year. I was in a place, the place is as big as, very, very big. Let me just put it, let me say about over 40,000 square meters. They put all sort of spots there, covered up. So there is no way you will say where is in Calgary. There is no way you are going to say that place is boring. Every weekend you will see a lot of people there and they are spending money. These are places where government can get some money apart from federal allocation over there. So we have to, government, they are trying, in fact, as far as I'm concerned, also an insider as government is concerned, and I know the resources they are getting is so lean, but we can play our own role in a little way to complement their effort. That's what we did there. At least we have a certain number of people that are working with us. They are not government employers, but they are working and making a living. Why can't we just try and do something to make life better for every one of us? So I think that was what led us into this. And like I said, any knowledge you have and you are not putting into practice is a waste of time. So application of knowledge is more powerful. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you very much. And finally, L'Oreal, with all that has been said, how do you envision the business in Oyo State or Nigeria in the next 5 to 7 years? As both someone that is working with government and perhaps future policies that the government has to implement, do you see a positive impact in 5 to 7 years on businesses in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I see a ton of events over the next 5 years, most especially in Oyo State. And I am happy from the feedback from the two people, my two other brothers who spoke before me. First, I would like to say this, that in Oyo State, there are several low-hanging fruits. All that we need to do is just apply our knowledge. Yes, if we look at it, what the governor is doing, now, I don't want anybody to take it as a political statement, but look at it critically. We know there are basic amenities. And when we look at these basic amenities, we mention good roads, good hospitals, this and that. There was a time, it was even at the height of it, people were saying, regional roads in Ibadan are bad, but let's look at it critically. From Ogbomoso to Iseyin, 76 kilometer road, a virgin road, constructed by His Excellency. That is to link Ogbomoso to Iseyin. And that is to transport agricultural products, not even just people now, products and byproducts through that area. Now from Iseyin to Oyo town, 38.5 kilometer, constructed. It is a federal road, constructed by His Excellency. Now we have Shaki to Ogboro, another 36.7 kilometer, constructed by His Excellency. Still ongoing anyways, just a little bit more to complete it. Then we have Moniya, Ibadan to Iseyin, 65 kilometer road, constructed by His Excellency, all in 1.0. That is to first link all of these areas. So that I'm not going to talk about real estate, because a lot of people believe that real estate is why the governor is actually constructing those areas. No, it is first to open up those areas, then to open people's eyes to business. I believe we have seen additional 2 people also that are seen it from the entertainment view, Kunle Afolayan and Ibrahim Jata, who has also invested in the state. I hope some other people also see it from other sectors and also invest in it. Because when they start now, it is still at the early stage. It is called the pace setter, not just to be the first at everything. You might be the first and stay back a bit and look at what others are doing, then do it better, because you are doing it differently. You are innovating it, so you are the pace setter. That's what you are actually known for. So for the governor to have sat down, let me use this time now to build the foundation. We might not get Lagos now, we might not get them earlier, but Lagos is almost saturated or overly saturated to some extent. Then where will people want to go to? Ibadan or Oyo State.
And they're actually saturating Ibadan for us.
No, but that way, when the migration starts coming back, it means urban development starts, businesses start to grow, entertainment starts to, people start putting money in entertainment because they believe people are coming back. One of the reasons a lot of people are migrating to Lagos is because of the population, and they believe even if you sell pure water in Lagos, you will make money. Now, when people start moving back, what happens to where they are moving to? You take economic growth. The way people are jackpot into Canada, UK, they are taking away our best and the economic down to those places. So when we start having the rejapa people coming back, then people who are here now, who have invested now, will start reaping
the fruit of the
I think that's what happened in Lagos. A lot of people were migrating to Lagos. Lagos had a way of shaping this perfect place to, if you go to Lagos, you will make it and all. So don't you think we should stop saying, or rather, do you think this name, like you said, someone was saying, a whole, even Ibadan. So I can't believe something like this is in Ibadan. Don't you think it could be maybe because people are always saying the brown roof city?
I think I love it that way.
The narrative is changing now.
I think I even love it that way, because it means that all of these people who are doing something new are doing something different. Because when people now come and say in this Ibadan, even Jesus of Nazareth, people were telling me,
can anything good come out of Nazareth?
So that's gospel of anything good is not coming out of Ibadan will sell more than the brown roof.
Exactly.
Okay, because me, I was of the opinion of, the pace setter state, instead of always saying brown roof city. There are a lot of developments in Ibadan.
We are still pace setters.
The pace setter state should be first every now and then. You are allowed to be first, go back a bit, come back, overtake and move. You have to set the pace.
Do you agree with this?
You have to set the pace. That's just my understanding.
Basically, for me, if he's a politician, so I'll just he's coming from political. Let me just keep it at that, because as much as possible. For instance, if I want to look at it critically, we have everything that makes us the first, but look at how fast these first are even dying. Look at NTA is a shadow of itself. So they took NTA from us, took the regional head, the head office to Abuja, and this one became a
shadow of
we have the Boas Tower. So I understand that part, that okay, we can take some what is the back a step back to actually see. But now, as much as we are trying to see, I feel it's just that's why we have to send them back to the government house too. Like, as much as we are now saying, we should not just fold our hands so much that we now keep staring until certain things now overlap us.
Okay. Thank you. I would respond immediately. To take that back to the government is not bad.
You get. So
I agree.
While we are staring, we should not just whether we like it or not. I was in Oshun recently, and you look at it like Oshun is starting to look like are these people. There are some new things they are doing that I feel if care is not taking another 3-4 years, they will compete with us, and we should not. Our only competition should be Lagos, because Lagos stole everything from us.
Let me add this to it. We can't put all responsibilities on government. Why all those first failed was that they are all government pioneered projects. But if it had to be an individual project, at least to a certain level, it's still going to weather storm off. Because government project, we always say it's government stuff now. It can be anyhow. But my project, I can't do it anyhow because I know maybe I have a loan I have to repay, or I have a... So, with all this PPP of a thing and the government giving an enabling environment for private investors, we are still retaining that pioneer state and a pace-setter state as far as I'm concerned. Like what we are doing, we have all other states with water bodies. I know about 2-3 states, they've been to me that what we have in Ibadan, we should come and do it in their own state. And I look at it, you have people, can't they just leave Ibadan alone, leave your state alone. Let's be taking the lead, and well, if you need any consultancy, I can give it to you. So it's just because we can do more of thinking inwardly and see what can we do to make this space setter thing that we are known with, to project it forward. That's just it.
Thank you. As a parting word to add to that, the government created Oyo State for a reason.
Sure.
Also, we have seen people who will come around with proposals that they want to do this, they want to do that, and yet they are only trying to swindle the government. That is also another. I will not go deep into that. Another part of it. And that's one of the reasons why I said we can sit back, look at it, and say, okay, let's do it differently. Then we now launch again. That is from the perspective I'm coming from. And as an example here, I would have loved to mention about other 5 or 6. For instance, let's say Cowrie in Lagos. Cowrie is the one who did Cowrie the card in Lagos. Also did the pay setter in Oyo, did the gateway in Ogun, doing Imole in Oshun. Now let me tell you, the person who did that, Olamide Afolabi Peter, is from Igbora.
Oyo State.
In Lautech. Most of the team also from Lautech. But I am not saying all of these things is the fault of the government, because the government has one way or the other invested in his own life too. We can be the pace setter always, we can be the first always, but it is not bad when even some people has overtaken us. For us to now re-strategize and look at it that let's relaunch, let's do it better. Let's do it in a way that anybody have not seen before. So it does not strip us of the pace setter position. It's only giving us the avenue to rethink. That's why I feel when you see these European countries, when a particular team is doing well, they know gradually that they have to rebuild. A team that is doing well will still be telling you we have to rebuild. So even at that time when they are better, they still believe that there will be rough patches, and they only just need to come back and do better. When Real Madrid was not winning Champions League, they still retained and still say they are the biggest club in the world. So Oyo State remains the pace setter state. We might not be the first in all positions,
but we are setting pace.
We are setting the pace with innovations now. And what the governor is doing, previous government might have been doing it differently. Just like the circular route, for instance, was an idea of Rashidi Ladoja. And for it to have taken that numbers of years, then for a new governor to now come and say, no, this thing, let us open the corridors of Oyo State up, because we have more things to come in. We should give kudos to him, because that way he's trying to say, we've been saying this circular road for a long time. let's do the work now, so that others who will come in will repeat. And by the time he is able to do that, the people who come in will just build on that foundation. So let's give it to the current governor for building the foundation that was meant to have been built over years. So in another 5, 6, 7, 8 years, I can tell you, Oyo State will now bounce back, and it will be in the tongues of everybody, and we'll say, Ile Oluyole, the city of brown rose. The story is changing. Something good is coming
out of Oyo State. All right, thank you very much for keeping it locked with us on the Growth Mindset podcast. It's been an amazing ride, learning from industry giants, yes, learning from experts in both the business sector, the government sector, and of course, I'm sure you've had a lot to learn and unlearn. Till next episode, remember to like, subscribe, and share this video. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next episode. I'm Brown Naya, and I'm your host.